Hello, my sewing friends. My name's Diana, and this is my sewing vlog, The Wandering Sewist. Welcome to my channel. Today is another edition of #Friday Sews, where we talk a little bit about sewing and a little bit about life. So this week in sewing, I have been working on my Hova jacket from Megan Nielsen. And I am making the long version, and so I have a little bit of progress to show you. So I did cut out all of my pieces out of my pieced and quilted fabric. So this is a sleeve, and this is another sleeve. And then here I have my back and my two fronts. And they are pinned together at the shoulder and ready to sew here at the shoulder. Now, I had a bit of a pocket dilemma because, as you know, I don't have enough of the pieced fabric to put a matching pocket on the front, and I'm not willing to cover up my beautiful piecing and quilting to put a plain fabric on the top. So what I decided to do was to insert inseam pockets. So first thing I did, so here's my pocket bags. That's because they haven't been sewn together yet. So the first thing I did was trace out my hand, opened all the way so there's plenty of space, and cut out a pocket bag. And then I pinned it and sewed it on the edge of the fabric where it says the top of the pocket is supposed to go for the patch pocket that you put on the outside. And then I held it up against my body and it was way low down by my hip. So I didn't want to do that. I would like to have my pockets in a comfortable place. You know, I gotta stand up a little bit, like right about here. You know, so that I can have my elbows bent and I can rest my arms in my pockets. So what I did is I held up to my body the front piece. So I just held it up to my body, and then I put my hand on, and then because I decided to make the pocket out of flannel, I just stuck it onto the fabric where I wanted my hand to go, and that gave me a good spot. So it wound up being just below where the sleeve is going to go, just this much below where the sleeve is going to go. So next, I just need to, it's only 5 pieces. It's a back piece, 2 fronts, and 2 sleeves. That's it. So next I need to sew the shoulders here, and then the 2 sides, and then sew the sleeves and insert the sleeve. And then all I'll have left to do is to cut and insert the bias binding. So I'm going to use my backing fabric, which is the liner, I guess the lining. So this is my lining fabric. I'm going to use this for my bias binding. So as you can see, here's one of my sleeve pieces. This is the shoulder, and this will be the cuff here. So this will be the bias binding around the cuff. And it'll also be all around the front, and all of the seams on the inside of the jacket, you know, where the side seams, the shoulder seams, the sleeve seams, will also be bound with all the same bias binding. I have quite a lot of this fabric left, so I have plenty to make all the bias binding I could possibly need. And I was thinking last night as I was seam ripping, and I'll talk about that in just a minute, that the pockets will just be kind of free floating inside the jacket unless I attach them to something. So I was considering just taking a needle and thread and just hand stitching the pocket bags to the inside front right front and left front pieces so that they wouldn't be floating around free inside of my coat. Rather, they would be attached to the front pieces. I can't really do that on the machine because I would have to go through all the layers of fabric and that would mess up my quilting. But if I just took a needle and a thread and I only went through the lining, just whipped it all the way around, I think that would possibly work. What do you think? I'm not the most experienced sewer in the world, so many of you, my lovely subscribers, are way more experienced than me. So what do you think? Is that a viable solution to having the pocket bags just kind of floating around inside the jacket? Because I'm having to insert them in the side seams and they'll just be kind of floating around. It'll also, when I pull my hand out, they'll come out like little bunny ears. Whereas if they're attached to the inside lining, then they'll stay. Will that work? Those of you that are more experienced, can you please let me know? So seam ripping. So I don't know about you, but for me, 9 o'clock is the new midnight. And last night, it must have been getting close to 9 o'clock because I was just making mistake. And I kept having to rip out what I was doing and redo it. All I was trying to do was attach the pocket bags. That's all I was trying to do. Because, you know, you sew them right sides together and then you flip them over, turn it over, and you do, the word just escaped me, you do a second seam to sew the seam allowance down. What is that called? I forgot. Oh man. So that's all I was doing and I messed it up. So I had to rip it out and do it over. And then I looked at the clock and it was 3 minutes after 9. And I thought to myself, yeah, my brain is done for the day. There'll be no more problem solving, no more concentration, nothing else for the day. So I just had to put it aside, turn off everything and go upstairs and go to bed. Of course, I didn't go straight to bed. I sat there and read a book for a while because that's a mindless thing I can do. But around 9 o'clock, I have to stop every day because I spend twice as much time ripping out seams as I do actually sewing anything. Oh, it's really frustrating because a lot of times the only free time I have is in the evening. And I get started working furiously trying to finish some steps of a project I'm working on. Then the 9 o'clock will come around and nothing is going to happen after that. It's very, very frustrating. Do you have that problem? Do you have a certain time where your body just starts to shut down and says, bed, go to bed? Because I do. Around 9 o'clock in the evening, I'm finished for the day. So that's it for sewing, and let's move on to the life portion. So for life this week, I finally am well. I think I just have a little bit of cough left. So I decided to go back to my circuit training class, and I went this morning, and it was great. I really enjoyed it. I have 2 more sessions that I prepaid for, and I'm not sure what's going to happen after that because, as you know, the government is shut down, and so there are no paychecks coming out. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to continue to pay for the classes. We'll see what happens. It's about $25 a class, but still that's $25 more than what we have coming in because there's nothing coming in. So I'm not sure what's going to happen or what I'm going to do about continuing with my circuit training classes. I might have to take a break until the government starts back up again. However long that's going to be, I don't know. So I'm a little bit worried about that. You know, I'm trying my best to save any amount of money that I can and not spend at all. So, for example, while I was quilting my pieces for my Hova, when I had first planned this project, I bought 2 spools of exactly matching thread this color to blend in with the backing fabric. And I had only quilted 1.5 pieces when I ran out of 1 spool of thread. And then when I ran out of the second spool of thread, I had only quilted 3 pieces. I still had 2 more to go. And so I had to switch to white. I was considering going into town to the shop and buying more thread. Now, granted, thread is not expensive, but when you have 0 income coming in, everything is expensive. So I just decided to go through my partial spools of thread that I have and just do what I had. I had like a creamy ivory color, and then I use that up, and then I switched to white. So, you know, if someone looks really, really close at the quilting on my jacket, which I don't know why you would do that, but if somebody did, then you would be able to tell that not all of the quilting is in the same color of thread. I don't think anybody's going to do that, but you know, it's one of those things you got to do. So, yeah, it's a little difficult right now. So if you are a praying person, if you could please put me and my family and my husband on your prayer list, because it's difficult, and with the government shutdown and no paycheck coming in, wondering what's going to happen. Our lives are all up in the air. We're kind of just in this limbo, not really knowing what's going to happen. And that is stressful. It is stressful. So we just need, you know, the peace that passes all understanding. That's what we need. So if you could pray for that for us, I would really appreciate it. Well, that's it. That's it. There's nothing else going on. It's quiet this week, except for it's really busy with working on projects, working on the kids have been studying like crazy. I've been working with them on their math in the evenings, so it's taking a lot of my time, and nothing else really going on. It's quiet. All right, I hope you guys all have a fantastic weekend, and I hope you find some time to sew something beautiful. Take care. Bye.